Joining us now to discuss the crypto markets is GSR Markets co-founder and President Rich Rosenblum. Welcome, Rich.
Greetings. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. So, Bitcoin above 21,000 yet again. What do you think is what's driving all this? What's going on here behind the scenes?
So far this year, I think that we've had some, more muted CPI prints and inflation after 6 months of consecutive sequential declines. I think that's a big factor. So your macro is looking a bit better. Also, I think we've seen some altcoins start to show some signs of life. If you had a portfolio of Aptos and Solana, you could have already made nearly 300% if you started owning them at the beginning of the year and you sold them on the highs so far. Altogether, I think that we're not seeing the liquidations that we would have expected from funds that are having redemptions post FTX. So I think that lack of selling has given people more confidence to come back in and buy. But that move on Friday, that was basically a weekend move because it occurred when it was already evening time in the U.S. markets. That one I've been referring to as a head scratcher. It's very hard to know who would have bought billions of dollars of Bitcoin over the weekend, and generally very strange. It would feel like it's a short covering type move by the speed of the market and the timing. But from what we're seeing, open interest has actually gone up rather than down. So that would imply that there was new buying that's coming. But one of the things I think is a takeaway is that you can't really predict where the market's going to go with a good degree of certainty. It's very much a surprise that move happened, and it's the exact opposite of what market participants would have expected.
Friday, as many know, that late Friday afternoon in terms of liquidity, in terms of market volume, it's usually a soft time of the week. I mean, especially even though crypto's 24/7. Let's face it, people Friday afternoons they're kind of done, especially in any kind of trading. So interesting to see that it might have been planned, perhaps in that way. Meanwhile, somebody who doesn't like crypto, JPMorgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon, he sees interest rates, the Fed funds rates going above 5%. Fed Governor Lael Brainard also sees higher rates. We're seeing inflation cooling, but not all the way. What do you think is the role of inflation in all of this? Is it actually a factor in crypto right now, or are there other things going on, bigger fish to fry at the moment?
Sure. First, I'll throw out there that I heard something recently. Someone said if somebody is against a new technology, should first ask them whether they stand to gain by things staying the same way as they are today. Basically, I think there's a conflicted interest between a lot of these groups that are anti-crypto and having negative views. But as far as inflation, a lot of that's coming down to the energy market and food, which is highly volatile, especially today in this post-COVID world where we have anti-globalization, we have a war which is still very much live. So it's hard to know what inflation is going to be like 6 months out, 1 year out. But when we look at the trends, it was rising quickly, and now for the last half a year, it's been gradually going down. So the trend is our friend for now, and I think we're seeing that connection between jobs and inflation, called the Phillips curve. We continue to add jobs, but the headlines we're seeing about the biggest, smartest companies seem to be laying people off. So I do think that that's going to help put a lid on inflation if the jobs market continues to weaken.
So now, with all that said, you're looking at Bitcoin, 21,000. What levels do you watch on the up and down side?
Sure. So I think I've had my head on around 15,000 or just around there as what will be the bottom for this semester. And there's nothing with the charts or so that's more speaking to a lot of people in the market. That's the area where they'd feel confident to really buy back in or add in size. To the upside, I think that whether we finish the year at twice that level or so, I do feel like at some point in the second half, we're going to get up to roughly 30,000. And that's somewhat of half the retrace up to the highs. I think that it's hard for the market to really have that big of a bigger recovery than that, given how much pain there is post the FTX debacle, but based on all the development we're seeing, and I think that a more accommodative stance by the Fed before the end of the year, I do think it's possible to see prices climb up towards 30,000 at some point in the second half.
That would be an impressive move up. Well, let's see if it happens. Thank you very much, Rich. That was GSR Markets co-founder and President Rich Rosenblum.